risk.
Did you from cockroaches? And that mice spread potent asthma triggers found in 82% of homes. It's
I'm not
true.
bragging, I'm just saying.
Common household pests are major offenders on the list of indoor allergens. Learn what you can do to help your family breathe easier. Visit pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association and the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America.
The following program does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of the staff, management, or ownership of this station.
It's time to get on the right path with RightPath Real Estate Radio with Tom Perry. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today.
Welcome to the show. There we go. All right, there.
Get ready. The guy that will put your fears behind you
All right,
is on
guys,
the
stand
air
by.
now. Taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Tom Perry.
Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. RightPath Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Today is Thursday. We're live in Houston from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We're rebroadcasting in Dallas from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. So today we're keeping it level. I've got Green Tree Foundation live in the house. Welcome, guys. What's going on?
Morning.
So what's new in the world of foundations?
Man, this is our busy time of year. It starts raining, the April showers.
Right, we get swamped.
That's right.
And so all the ground swells, and then all the trees start getting thirsty because we got springtime. They're going
right.
into bloom and all that, so they start sucking all the water.
April showers bring May foundation work.
Nice. Yeah, so only 2 more weeks of April showers, right?
That's right.
Or 10 days, something like that, because today's the 20th, I believe, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so 10 more days. 10 more days left of April.
That's right.
And then, boom, we're into May.
Yes, sir.
So how busy have you all been?
We're getting ramped up big time. Like I said, this is our busy time of year. We kind of take a little bit of a dip during the winter time. Obviously, that's when it slows down a little bit. People aren't doing quite as much work, and then this starts to be our heavy time. So we love this time of year. We have more than we can handle. So that's great.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to be giving you a call probably next week because we're closing on a house May 1st. That definitely, got to start with the foundation. That's the first step of every job. So I'm actually meeting foundation check over there tomorrow at 10 o'clock to walk the house before we close on it.
We love it when foundation check does the check before we get there. It makes our job really easy. We know exactly what we're going to do, and it goes really well most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're excited about that. So I'll have a peer map for you and be able to say, here you go, this is what we're looking to do, and all of that. So, and what I love is that most of the time foundation companies, y'all are looking on how to use pilings to get the property back into
tolerance
within
levels.
building tolerance. Not necessarily making it level, but get it back to within building tolerance. But one of the things I like about what they do, y'all really don't look at like the trees and the elevation of the lot and things like that, right? Y'all are really just looking at the structure itself and focus on that. One of the things I like, they take it like a step further upstream, like what's causing all of this movement, right?
And we try to evaluate
Right.
that. I mean, while our tech is out there, he's definitely going to try to give us a feel for what he thinks is causing the issue, whether it's tree roots. Most of the time, 99% of the time, it's going to be the soil here in Houston. So we go by the basis of most of the time. That's what we're going to be looking at, unless we see something else that would alarm us or make us think that it's some other reason. But definitely having someone like Foundation Check that we trust, that we know does a great job, helps us out a bunch.
All right, so we're talking foundations today. We're going to keep it level on the foundations. So 713-785-1817 is our call-in number. We also have an event this evening. If you want to come out to 9999 Westheimer, not if you want to, you need to come out. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they go, well, I need to meet with a title company this afternoon at 5:30. I'm like, you can be with a title company anytime. If you want to learn how to estimate rehabs in 15 minutes or less as an investor, that's an important skill set to know. So I can't tell you the next time that I'm going to be teaching that class, but I am teaching it tonight. So they can show up from 6 to 9 p.m., 9999 Westheimer. Y'all are going to be there also.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a great workshop. We've done this before, and it's we've learned a lot.
So if you want to go to our Facebook page, or you can go directly to our website, rightpathrealestate.com, and you can we have a link there for tonight's event. You can sign up on Meetup. Please register if you're coming tonight. We'd like to know that we can expect you. And what's the best number to reach you guys?
You can reach Green Tree at 832-329-1687.
All right. Give that one more time.
We're 832-329-1687.
So if I'm a brand new investor, walk me through the process. I'm evaluating a house. I'm trying to decide, what I should do and what I shouldn't do. And I'm like, is this a buy, no buy? It's like red light, green light, right? Remember playing that as a kid, red light, green light? So that's really what investors need to be able to make a decision. This is a green light, I should go forward with this project, or this is a red light. Or to put it in another term, is like if it's not green light, red light, it's like what's the number that I have to pay for this? Because that's one of the things that I see that investors make a mistake at when they're first getting started is they look at the number that either a wholesaler sends a property out at, or if they're buying off of MLS, then they're looking at this is the purchase price that I have to live with, right? And then they're trying to evaluate what the ARV is. So they have two variables, and remember algebra in Algebra 101, you have any two variables, you should be able to solve for the third, right?
Sure.
Well, I see a rookie mistake that a lot of investors make is that they're solving for all the wrong X. They're solving for, if this is a $20,000 rehab, then I've got a deal. So they're playing like red light, green light, right? But the reality is they've got to be able to calculate what the ARV is and then calculate what the repairs are. And based on those two numbers, solve for what's the offer price.
Right.
Because, it really doesn't matter what someone's asking for their property. They could be asking $300,000. I remember I was talking to this guy one time. I promise you, his property as it sits right now to an investor is worth about $55,000. It's maybe 56, but it's not even worth 60, okay? And now, it's not worth 40 either, but I'd say between $55,000 and $56,000, that's what his property's worth. He wanted $300,000.
Wow.
And I go, how in the world did you come up with that number? He goes, well, rail just came through. And I'm like, yeah, what does that have to do with the price of your house, Yeah. He goes, oh, well, rail's going to boost the value of my house. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, if that were true, wouldn't rail be running through River Oaks? Imagine you have a $3 million house, right? And you go, rail adds 10% to my value. Instantly, you just made $300,000, right? Why do the wealthiest and the most financially influential, most politically influential people always fight having rail come through their neighborhood? It doesn't run through Memorial, doesn't run through River Oaks, doesn't run through, Highland Village, doesn't run through any of the expensive places, right? Where does it run? Runs through poor areas that people can't afford cars. Right. I'd personally rather live in a neighborhood people can afford cars, right? So people use all kinds of crazy logic. But if I'm a brand new investor, I'm trying to solve for the right X, trying to decide what I can offer on this property. How quickly can I find out? Because, we always talk about the big four: foundation, roof, plumbing, HVAC. Guess which one we always list first? Foundation.
Got to.
It's got to start with a good, solid foundation. And are there any rules of thumb that you've learned from y'all's years of experience that I can say, if just sight unseen, I can budget X number of dollars?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing, I want to say, Tom, is that we are geared towards investors. We're
Absolutely.
investor friendly. So we know that you guys need these, quotes as quickly as possible.
Correct.
So if you call me, I'm going to try to get my tech out. If not the same day, the next day, we're going to get you the numbers as quickly as possible. So, the first thing I would say that if you have an opportunity, if you have a window that you can get us out there, if you have a day or two, give us a chance to come out there and look at the property and give you a realistic expectation of what you're looking at. Because unfortunately, just walking a property and looking at it, sometimes you can see what's wrong. Sometimes you can't. It's such an inexact science as far as visually seeing what's wrong with the foundation. Having us out is the best choice. Now, that being said, obviously there's not always a scenario where you have time that you can call us out there, and we understand that. Sometimes you need to figure these numbers out quickly, and you need to have at least something that you can base that on fairly quickly. So what I would say is take into consideration the age of the house. If the house is over 20, 30 years old, a lot of these rehab houses, flip houses, are going to be 30, 40, 50 years old. They're built in the same, usually same decades. And so a lot of these houses are going to have a lot of the same telltale signs of foundation issues. When you walk up, you're going to see cracks in the brick. You'll see, cracks in the sheetrock, around the doors, around the windows, obviously cracks in the flooring itself. So if you do see, telltale signs, you walk in and you see the cracks, you see there's something there, definitely, think that there could be an issue there, a foundation issue, and at least budget something in there for yourself to cover it. Now, I would say our average right now is about $5,000 as far as our foundation. So we range from about a minimum of $3,000 to a really high of $10,000.
So it's rare for y'all to have below $3,000 worth of foundation work. And then what's the highest foundation repair that y'all have seen in the last year?
10 to 12,000 is really the highest end. So I mean, if you put in 10,000, you're going to be right in the ballpark for worst case scenario.
And just a little bit, you probably remember that particular house, right? The one that was the most expensive.
Exactly.
How many square feet was that house?
Probably 2,500. It was a large house,
but a single story 25. So that's not a you have a 2,500 square foot house that's 2 stories. That's the equivalent of a 1,250 or maybe a 1,600 square foot slab if you've got the garage as well. But so when you've got a 2,500 square foot single story house, that's a pretty good sized slab. It's
a pretty nice size foundation itself. Exactly. So.
Yeah, so I can understand that it goes. And then you also, did that include underground plumbing as well?
That price would not include the plumbing, but a lot of times we can definitely help with the underground plumbing as well and get.
Yeah, because you're already there. You're digging the holes. You can help with the tunneling, all of that kind of stuff as well.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. If you have any questions, put your fear of calling behind us, or behind you, I should say. 713-785-1817, and give us a call. We're keeping it level today with Green Tree Foundation. You can also go if you really just don't want to call and ask a question. You can go to Right Path Real Estate's Facebook page. Go to the Book of Faces. You can watch us. We're broadcasting live on the Book of Faces right now. You can text in or actually just type in a question, and we'll answer it live on the air. And we don't have to hear your voice on the radio, but we can. We always want to hear your voice. Give us your phone number one more time.
You can call us at 832-329-1687.
All right, we'll talk to you on the other side of the break.
Mike's off.
I've got to get some Kleenex. I'll be right back.
You can take the second.
If you have cracks in your walls, ceilings, or floors, you may have a foundation leveling problem. Do you have doors that stick or just won't open right? Maybe you have gaps in the bricks of your fireplace.
I like us handling.
You need Green Tree Foundation
sections.
Leveling, a fast, high-quality foundation leveling company based here in Houston. They know how hot it gets on the Gulf Coast. High summer temperatures, heavy rainfall, and clay-rich soils are leading causes of foundation cracks. If you have a cracked slab or a shifting foundation, call Green Tree Foundation Leveling at 832-329-1687. How old is your house? Many older homes in our area require foundation repairs simply because of our climate and soil conditions. Green Tree Foundation Leveling provides free estimates within 24 hours. They repair concrete slab foundations and pier and beam homes too. The experts at Green Tree Foundation Leveling work fast and offer competitive rates, even a lifetime transferable warranty. Call 832-329-1687 to schedule an appointment with Green Tree Foundation Leveling.
Yeah.
Junk King is your full-service junk and clutter removal solution. You just point, and we will do all of the work. Junk and clutter can be appliances, furniture, yard waste, trash, construction or remodeling debris, items left by former tenants, or anything you wish to dispose of that does not require a permit for hauling. Apartments, attic, garage, and office cleanups or yard cleanups.
And it gets back to you, right?
Tenant evictions where law enforcement is present.
By the way, this will be the
Our
last time that we'll be here. We'll be in our new
professionally
offices next time y'all come
provide
back.
you with free estimates. We will beat
11451 Katy Freeway.
and we
which is
even
Kirkwood
sweep up after
and the
every
Katy
job
Freeway.
at no additional cost. Junk King is the greenest junk hauling service in North America. We donate, recycle,
like fire alarm
repurpose,
subs?
and
Is that what
reuse as much as possible.
firearms?
Every load.
Oh, yeah.
We're averaging 60 to 80%.
Is it the Athena?
Fully insured, Junk King would love the opportunity to showcase our services and earn your business. 1-888-888-JUNK.
Is it on north side I-10 or south side? Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
A real estate attorney is a crucial member to add to your team. Contact
if you're
Taylor
going
Law
west on I-10, take the Kirkwood exit,
1120.
make a U-turn, and it's like one of the first buildings on the right-hand side. It's the University of Phoenix building. That's where we are.
To serve you in your residential and commercial real estate law needs. Contact Alert Law at 346-231-1120. We draft and review docs and structured transactions and represent you in disputes and litigation. Or choose one of our transaction packages to cover your sub-2, wholesale, wraps, or private financing deals. Our business and commercial services include business contracts, entity formations, and business consultations. If you need a reliable, dedicated firm to serve on your team, contact Alert Law at 346-231-1120.
Hey, with the levels, bring his up a little bit.
Okay.
Paid for by
Which
Gerald
one?
Ayler, Principal
Me?
Office
Barry?
Not board certified
Yes,
by the
whoever
Texas
was on
Board
the
of
first
Legal
segment.
Yeah,
Specialization.
got it. All right.
Are you expecting to
We
close
got 1 minute.
accurately,
Yeah, we'll be
on time, and
on
with
the
lots
third
of communication
floor.
on your home
We're
purchase?
taking on half
You've
the
come to the
floor
right
right
place.
over here.
I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Our goal is to give our borrowers and referral partners an amazing experience during the loan process. My team believes
We'll
in
let Ray
putting
take this
people and
segment,
culture
Tom.
before
All right,
results. Our company concentrates on building those teams who operate with structure, process, and recognition for going the extra mile for you. This way, we have the energy to make this your best home
we're supposed to
purchase
move
ever.
a week from
Give us a
Monday.
call today
Oh, cool.
to find out
Excited
the
about
simple
the move?
steps
Very.
to get started. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, the Hernandez team at
It's like
Legacy
you guys are
Mutual
growing big
Mortgage.
time. You got a lot of vendors coming in and stuff.
Jennifer.legacymutual.com
She's been sending out the new
or
vendors
call
and all that, so you guys are growing big time.
713-579-3611. Again,
Well, we're growing in Houston and Dallas,
jennifer.legacymutual.com. We can't wait
we're
to
doing an
consult with
event
you soon.
every other week.
NMLS
5 seconds.
I think in the next 2
514497.
years,
Equal housing
we'd
opportunity
like to try to
lender.
expand
NMLS
our operation in Dallas. I
5497.
think that would
This
be great.
is
We could have a
Business
crew up there.
1110.
Yeah.
All right,
awesome.
guys, stand by. Stand
Okay.
by. Hot mics in 5,
4,
4, 3.
3,
Stop
2.
it. 2, 1. Here we go.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Giving Nikki a hard time. She's our producer. She does a great job. We love her. She knows that. Oh, actually, I don't think we told you that yet, right?
I already know. I already know.
All right, okay. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817, 713-785-1817. Today we are keeping it level on the radio show. I'm trying to be punny. We've got Green Tree Foundation in the house. So we were talking about before the break. If I'm a brand new investor, want to start the process, the first thing that I need to do, I'll give you an example. This house that we're buying on May 1st, the seller knows that they've got some foundation issues. Mm-hmm. In fact, 3 years ago, it was a big enough problem for them that they started calling foundation companies. And what I know about most retail sellers is that, like homeowners, the owner-occupants, there's really probably 3 companies that they're going to call all the time. It's the ones that are doing the massive amounts of advertising, right? The Jerichos and the Olshans and Allied, right? Those are, or Atlas, I guess,
Atlas,
yeah, with the cable lock system and all that kind of stuff, right? Which is, a lot of that is, I'll just say marketing gimmickry, right?
It is.
And so, but the prices that those guys quote, with retail construction guys, they are so dang expensive, which works in our favor as an investor because what a seller typically thinks things cost is that they think investors are paying the same prices that they would be paying. And she said that the quotes that they had gotten from they said they got one quote from a company for $25,000 that included the underground plumbing. They got another quote from a company that was $15,000, and it didn't include the underground plumbing.
Sure.
Well, I know that there's no way it's going to cost us that kind of money. But I can take that amount of money that they've gotten a quote from as a discount off the price, and that's building in extra margin on the house. I mean, that's how we can add value because I can do something that they can't do, and that's really what creating value in the marketplace is all about, is being able to do something other people in the marketplace can't do, right?
Just for that reason, I have investors that look for foundation problems for that exact
we love
reason.
that. That's exactly right. In fact, that's exactly what we're excited about. So because of that, we would prefer foundation problem, no foundation problem. Take the one with foundation problem every single day and twice on Sundays. and it's about a 2,600 square foot house. But unlike the 2,500 square foot house or 2,400 square foot house that you were talking about that was one story, this is a 2-story house. So it's really probably on like a 1,300 square foot foundation. So, I mean, I'm budgeting right off the bat about $5,000 for it.
That's about right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. And that maybe there's some underground plumbing issues, although they haven't talked about, any plumbing issues or anything like that have happened so far. So I'm excited to find out, tomorrow when we walk the property with foundation check, just how much it's off in terms of tolerance. It wouldn't shock me if it was $3,000. It wouldn't shock me if it was $6,000, but right in that range. And so what I want new investors to do, I think if you're always plugging in about $5,000 for about a 1,500 square foot slab, which to me it's about what would that be? $3 a square foot, something like that. So if you're budgeting about $3 a square foot for foundation, I think that's a good number to plug in. And I think you're going to be within the ballpark. It's not like it's going to be like, oh my gosh, it was double. I think you're going to be maybe a little over sometimes, in fact.
Yeah, 500, 1,000 at the most.
Yeah.
Especially if we use extra material sometimes
Right.
or we run into some other issue.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, 5,000 was about right.
Yeah. And what I like about budgeting things over, I'd like rather budget over than under, because
Absolutely.
if I budget 5,000, it comes in at 4. I got an extra $1,000 in my pocket, right? And that's what investors should be looking for, is that extra money, because you're doing a really good job, of doing those things.
It's almost the same work as Allied and those other companies, the present power method. I mean, it's virtually the same exact process, technique, material, so it's for a way better price.
Absolutely. So you're listening to RightPath Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. If you've got any questions about how foundations are done, how they're fixed, what the difference is between keeping a foundation level versus building tolerances, things like that. In fact, let's talk about that. What's the difference between leveling a house and getting it within building tolerances?
Well, if you want to get it towards building tolerances, just to pass inspection, I would suggest get everything up to 1.5 inches, between 1 inch and 1.5 inches. That will pretty much barely pass inspection.
Now, when you're saying inch and inch and a half, I know you're explaining it to me because you know that I'm experienced, right? But let's dumb it down to a layperson that doesn't know anything, because I was talking to a young lady last night. She's just looking at getting started. She's kind of, it's almost like I was having a conversation earlier today about somebody they remember the very first time they ever jumped off the high dive. and I feel like this person's so early on the stage, they're just climbing up the ladder. They're not even on the diving board yet, much less getting out to the end ready to jump for the very first time. So let's bring it back down for that person. When you say inch and a half, what are you talking about?
That's the slope, basically.
The slope, okay.
Yeah, so
let's say I wasn't too good in geometry. When you say slope, what does that mean?
Well, let me explain the process so you can get a better idea of exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What we do is, first thing we do is we look for the highest point of the house, which we call our reference point.
Right.
Now, we have a zip level, which basically, it's an altimeter, and it basically tells us how much the house is sloping, how much has it fallen compared to that reference point. So we pull out the zip level, we zero it out.
How do you find the highest point in the house?
Well, that's nothing. Well, I either start. Well, first I'll take a walk around and see where is the least amount of damage. Let's start with that. Okay.
Sure, right.
So most of the time, the center of the house is gonna be okay. Or the front door. I'll start either one of those two places.
Why would the center of the house be the least likely to have damage?
Well, that's probably the strongest part of the house, and the part of the house where it's going to be harder for the water and moisture to reach from the exterior of the foundation, and basically,
where the soil is most stable, right?
It's where the main beam is going to run as well most of the time.
Right.
That main
the
concrete
main beam on the
right
foundation.
That's
the
the strength
of
of
the house.
Okay.
But the moisture has a lot to do with it, with the foundation dropping so fast. So it's, if the moisture around the house stays moist, then you're going to have problems.
Okay.
And since the soil in the center of the house, unless there's a plumbing issue, stays fairly dry. Right. And that's why I like to start in the center. So once I do that, I start in the center and see if I find a higher spot. If I don't, I'll leave it there, and then you just go to each corner, the restroom, and see how much has it dropped. Is it the whole house, half the house? And pretty much I like to go outside and look at the if it has brick, because that's a real good if there's cracks on the brick, it's a real good indicator there's something wrong in that area. And the thing is, sometimes
that's an important point, because brick is pretty solid, right? And I don't think most people realize that if there's enough force, brick just doesn't spontaneously crack for no reason.
Exactly.
There's got to be a lot of force moving. I mean, it's kind of like, I remember the first time that I was out in California after I graduated from college. I was out there on a business trip, and I was sleeping, and I woke up, and my bed was vibrating. And I'm like, I felt like I was in one of those old hotels where they had the quarters that you could stick in the bed, and they start vibrating,
that
right?
bad?
Right. And I was like, this is kind of weird. It's like vibrating. Who stuck? I don't remember putting any coins in the bed, right? and then the more I woke up, I was like, oh wait, it's not just my bed vibrating. Like the floor's vibrating too, and the room's vibrating. And then I realized we were going through an earthquake. And I was like, you start thinking about how much force it takes to vibrate a bed, and then how much to vibrate the whole room, and then the whole hotel building, and then the whole block. I mean, it started just blowing with my brain. And so back to bricks. It takes a lot of force to crack brick. I mean...
And... Yeah.
You ever seen a karate dude break a brick? That's a lot of force, right? So
to add on what he was saying, you mentioned foundation check earlier.
Yeah.
And we kind of go by a standard that they kind of have set. There's no real written in stone tolerance level that you have to follow in Texas.
Right.
So what we do is we kind of go by their standard, which is approximately an inch for every 20 feet of run.
Okay.
So you do have a little bit of run that you can have there, as far as the foundation.
And
with
still
that,
be within
technical tolerance levels. So, something that we do, a little bit different is we don't necessarily try to overlift it and make sure everything is at zero for an investor. It doesn't have to be, and that's where you cause a lot of problems and get a lot of cracks and breaks and damage that happens is because a lot of these companies overlift it instead of just getting it to the tolerance level that it needs to be and making sure that it's there. So.
Yeah, sometimes you may have a spot that's like 2 inches low, right? And a lot of people think in order to get it up to that zero level point, you got to raise it 2 inches. Well, you can raise it 1.5 inches, and you're within that. In fact, you could really technically raise it 1 inch, right?
Exactly.
And depending how far that run is, if it's 20 feet away from that low spot, you could raise it 1 inch, and you've only got 1 inch to drop over 20 feet. You're there, right?
Exactly.
And so, but then it comes down to, we still want to also satisfy who it is that our end customer is, right? That retail buyer. Sometimes, we may have 1 inch of drop and you don't feel it because of where it is in the house and positioning, things like that. Other times, I don't remember if you remember the Ashford Hollow house. I bet you do.
I do.
That kitchen along that side, we got it within building tolerance. Right. Well, on that kitchen side, you get within building tolerance and you still felt it. So we had to do a little bit more than just get it into building tolerance. So that's kind of, it's part science, it's part art, which I never would have thought that about foundations. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Nikki, I missed what you said.
Oh, I said 2 minutes, but now 90 seconds.
All right, cool. All right. So give out y'all's phone number again.
We're at 832-329-1687.
And if somebody wants to email you, how do they get a hold of you?
We're at let me give you our website first.
Yeah,
it's www.greentreefoundationleveling.com. I know it's a long one. Sorry about that. But you can email me at bjfelt@yahoo.com, and that's my first two initials, last name, and it's FELDT. So it's bjfelt@yahoo.com.
All right. So phone number one more time.
You can call us at 832-329-1687.
So if I call you today and I want you to come out and give me an estimate tomorrow, so that cost me what, like $1 million to have y'all come out?
$1.1 million for you.
$1.1 million just for me.
Just
you're
you.
so sweet.
No, for our investors, even for new customers, we don't charge for these inspections. We know that we're going to go out and a lot of these, aren't even going to need foundation leveling, and that's okay. We don't mind going out there and giving you a thumbs up saying, hey, this one's fine, because we know we're going to get the next one. So it doesn't bother us to come out, even if
it's all about that relationship,
that's
right?
That's right. We're trying to build long-term customers that want to use us every time they have an issue and know that they can trust us to come out and get it done.
All right, sounds great. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. You can follow us on the Book of Faces. We also want to talk about that we're going to be at an event tonight. I'm going to be speaking about how to estimate a rehab in 15 minutes or less. And you're going to be able to get within 10%. So just imagine if you could, in 15 minutes or less, walk a house and know that if it's a $30,000 rehab, that you're going to be plus or minus within 10% in 15 minutes. So that's going to be at $99.99 Westheimer. It's completely free of charge. Doesn't cost you anything except for your time. One of the most valuable commodities, but it'll be worth every cent. So we'll talk to you on the other side of the break.
Mic's off, guys.
Cool. Hey, during the next segment, what I'd like to talk about are the kind of things that you don't do. Is there anything that you don't do?
How much it's worth, or more importantly,
Yeah, we don't do
what
like
to do to
electrical,
maximize your investment
HVAC.
while mitigating
No, I
risk.
mean like the
This
types
is
of
exactly
foundations.
what
types of
we do.
Do y'all do
foundations we don't
multifamily?
do.
We don't do the
NextGen is a group of appraisers
the
specializing
6 foot
in
piers
investment
like for the
Yeah,
beach
like
houses.
Galveston,
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
big long piers. They have some weird stuff you got to do to meet code down there, and so we don't like to get involved.
So
you don't do beach house piers?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we don't raise houses, more than
We can raise.
Are you a
pier
realtor or
and
seller
beam
that is
up to about
concerned
6
about the new
inches,
TRID
but we
rules
cannot
and
raise a
closing on
slab
time? I'm
that
Jennifer
far.
Hernandez,
Okay,
Senior
got it.
Loan
Now 6
Officer at
inches.
Legacy
Yeah,
Mutual
but
like if you
Mortgage.
got a
We
one house down
master
in-
the
you're right,
30-day
you got a house down
close.
in
We close
Meyerland,
on
and they
time,
wanna get
They want to
accurately,
raise
and
their
with
whole house
tons
2
of
foot.
communication.
Yeah.
You'll have a dedicated
Now, I mean,
team,
if it's
a
pier and beam,
coordinator,
do you
and
know
a
how much that
contract to
costs
close
right now?
associate. Give me
Like
a call
60,
today at
70,000 maybe?
It's about $25 a
793-579-3611,
square
and let's talk about how we can
I've
help
heard
you
people
on your next
quoting over
transaction.
50, 60
Equal
grand
housing
to try to raise
opportunity
a house
lender.
a foot.
Well, I know.
514-497.
Seriously.
We know an investor that has a 4,000 square
Time
foot
is money in a
slab,
real estate deal.
and it's a
If your
single
insurance
story,
company is
4,000
slow or
yeah.
non-responsive,
and
you could lose a
it's
deal
right at
like
100,000,
that.
$25
You need a quick
a square
turnaround
foot.
on quotes or
Buy a
binders.
whole
I mean, we
nother
can
house
get
for that.
there.
Benchmark insurance
Hope in a few years we'll be able
Yeah,
to do
it's
some
just
of
it
those
takes a
jobs,
lot of
you know?
equipment
Yeah.
and a lot,
They
you
know
know, a
what
lot
you
of
need.
know-how.
We've done
to be
some
able to
research
do
on it. Yeah,
so.
it's going
Are
to
you
take
a
some
rehabber?
We've had
but
requests,
wholesaler,
you know, can you
buy
come
and
lift
hold
my
a
whole
flipper?
house up 2 foot?
Bundling
Like,
your properties on a
not-
single
not
policy
quite
will
yet.
help save time
Yeah.
and money.
Yeah, because you have to do the whole
Benchmark has
thing
been
all
in
at one
business
time.
At
That's the
once,
biggest
yes.
thing, right?
We insure with
Yeah,
30,000
Yeah, you
bucks.
can't do it an
Contact
inch at a
Benchmark
time.
about our
No.
exclusive
The house
investor
don't work
package.
like
Right.
that.
Call us
Right.
and let us
But
show
on the
you
pier
what
beams, we
can
actually
do for
just
you.
lifted a pier beam up about 8 inches.
Did you really?
It was real low to the ground and it was
281-569.
flooding real
Yeah,
bad over
yeah.
it, and the guy wanted us to lift
Or
it,
online
you know,
at
almost a foot up.
benchmarkbroker.com.
Yeah.
So we were
That's
able to get
Benchmark
that
Broker.
done. It looks
Nice.
great now. He's,
Yeah.
he's real happy with it.
So do you townhouses where you have common
Sure.
walls,
Or
things like that?
online.
Y'all
Yeah,
will do that?
there's a couple
Broker.com.
concerns with townhouses. We have
Yeah.
to get the permission of
Yeah.
everybody involved. but
Right.
Do you
we'll
have cracks
Yeah,
in
'cause
your
there's
brick,
liabilities
doors
if
that
you-
stick,
right,
or
got it.
sheetrock that's coming apart? Then you
But
may
yeah,
have
we'll be
foundation
happy to
movement.
talk about all
Due
that.
to our
Y'all do
expansive soils
multifamily?
in the Houston area, it's
Yes.
probably not a question of if you have movement.
We've done a couple
but
of
when.
we've done
Call
quotes
foundation
for like
check
apartment
for a truly
complexes and
independent,
some other stuff. We haven't
unbiased
gotten a lot of
foundation
that
evaluation.
business.
Foundation
But
Check has been in
it
business
seems
since
like those
2009
those
and has
investors
completed
almost
over
never end up
1,400
doing the work.
evaluations.
Yeah.
I don't
We're
think
not
we're
in
I don't think we're
business of
losing the
repairing
business. I don't
foundations
think they end up doing
or
it.
selling you unnecessary peer work, but we are in the business of evaluating your foundation. Our product is designed for house flippers, landlords, or even owner-occupied properties. Each
think
of
when
our
they figure out
files
what
is
it costs,
reviewed by a
that's
licensed
what it is.
engineer.
Yeah.
Remember to check before ever repair. Call
And you know they can still rent those properties even with the foundation issue, so it doesn't
That's
matter.
You can also finance them.
346-702-3825.
Oh, wow, they can?
3825.
it's not
Or you
single
can reach us
family, so it
online
doesn't
at
matter.
foundationcheck.com. That's foundationcheck.com.
Did you know that there are
1
over
minute.
$24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S.? Imagine if you could use someone's IRA to fund all of your deals. Well, you can. Quest IRA is based locally here in Houston, Texas. At Quest IRA, we offer retirement accounts that can be used to invest in real estate, promissory notes, private entities, and much more. Many of our clients loan money from their IRAs to fund real estate deals all over the country. We don't sell any investments or give advice. However, we do hold free networking events, weekly educational classes, and free consultations with an IRA specialist. For more information,
workshop tonight,
visit
man,
our
is that
website at
is Elijah teaching this?
questira.com
I am.
or
Oh, you
call
are?
us at
Y'all system is awesome, man.
FUN-IRAs to tap into the $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S.
You talking about the fast
Call
track
Quest
system?
IRA at
like when you say y'all.
1-855-FUN-IRAs.
Well, you know, I still consider y'all so. You know, I met you guys as a
questira.com.
All right, guys,
Is business
stand by.
1110.
I understand.
All right, hot mics in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I just figured I was going to mess with you, Nikki.
I was like, oh my God.
Hey, you're listening. You know, if you're going to have on the radio fun on the radio, where are you going to have fun, right? So that's a little producer humor. Sorry about that. Hey, so you're listening to RightPath Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. We're keeping it level today because I've got Green Tree Foundation live in the studio with me. We're talking about building tolerances versus being level. We're talking about the kind of things they do, the kind of things they don't do. So it sounds like, based on what you told me off air, about the only thing y'all don't do is lift an entire house like out of the floodplain. So if I've got a 2,000 square foot house and it's 6 inches in the floodplain and I want to raise it a foot, y'all don't do that kind of raising, but you're doing it within building tolerances. But you do say that, you know, I know some foundation companies, they'll do traditional foundations or, you know, floating slab, post tension, whatever it is, but they won't do pier and beam. But then I know other people do pier and beam, but they won't do traditional foundations. But y'all do both of those.
We do. Our crew is actually experienced. Our crew's been doing this over 10 years, and they've done a lot of pier and beams, obviously, in this area. So they're very, very good at what we do with the pier and beam. As far as lifting a foundation out of a water area or a flood area, if it's a pier and beam house, we can definitely lift it 6 inches, 8 inches up and try to get it up out of the water. If it's a poured slab itself, that's a little bit of a different story. We can lift it up to about 6 inches, but trying to lift it a foot or 2 foot up and get it up above the flood plain is not something that we currently are able to do, and it's just not really a cost-effective way to do, to achieve what you're trying to achieve with that. A lot of times drainage and French drains and other things are a better way to try to tackle that problem more cost-effectively than trying to pay, the cost of the house itself.
So you bring up some other services, things like that. Sure. I know that I personally know already that y'all do things other than just foundation. So what are some of the other, like I know you do French, and almost all of it is all related to the foundation work that you do.
Right. So what we want to do is kind of be a one-stop shop when it comes to our investors as far as getting the stuff done that you need to get done in order to make sure that your foundation is going to be okay once we're done with it. So once we level it, we have a lifetime warranty that we offer. And, in order for us to have that warranty, we want to make sure that this thing is not going to sink back down.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
A lot of times we're going to give you some recommendations, whether it's putting French drains in to avoid the water coming in and washing the sediment away, whether it's gutters around the side, because a lot of times.
So y'all think kind of like a landscape engineer or an irrigation engineer would think in terms of how to run the drainage correctly and all that kind of
We're
stuff.
We're trying to give you some tips on how to avoid having us come back out in the future.
Yeah.
And again, it's for our customers, but it's also a selfish reason, Tom. I don't want to have to come out and do warranty work. So if I can give you some tips on saving that trouble in the future, I'm going to do it. But besides just the stuff that we do as far as like we mentioned earlier, the underground plumbing, a lot of times the plumbing can break if it's the old cast iron or concrete plumbing. When we lift the house, it can break. So we definitely repair the plumbing underneath. My guys are really good at concrete work. So we do driveways and sidewalks, any kind of poured concrete or brickwork or anything.
So patios, that kind of stuff, those kind of things. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
So.
What do you do? Those old houses in areas, they would put a rebar, things like that in the foundation in the house, but there's a lot of neighborhoods where when the garage was built, there's an exterior beam that the wall sits on, but there's no, you see it, the middle of the garage starts breaking out, and there's nothing structurally in the concrete. They just poured concrete in there, made it really thick, and now it's all broken. How do you fix something like that?
That's actually a huge problem. We
run into that a lot.
All the time. What our simple solution for that is we use what's called an angle iron. An angle iron is a 6-foot piece of iron that we put up under our pier. It goes basically flat up against the underneath of the foundation between where our pier sits and the foundation sits. And what it does is it stretches out the effectiveness of the pier, and it takes the weight load that our pier can handle, and it stretches it out over several feet, just like what rebar does.
But you have to do that before the concrete's all broken up and things like that. Once it's broken up inside, is there anything you can do?
In that case, when it's that extreme, we'll have to break the rest of it up, remove the damaged areas, and we can actually re-pour that area with the correct rebar.
Yeah.
So you could leave the exterior beam, and what you're saying is that you could tie into that exterior beam and re-pour the interior, assuming that it hasn't that the exterior beam hasn't adjusted to the point of.
Well, we can level the exterior beam.
Okay.
We'll level that, support it. And then go ahead and tie in the new rebar with the exterior beam.
Okay, so folks, if you've got any questions, you want to give us a call, 713-785-1817. I've got a caller, James, calling from Houston. James, welcome to the show.
Hey, James.
Thanks. Hey, I don't know if I missed it. I know you were talking about cost for drill piers leveling, but I got a house that's pier and beam that I'm looking to do some leveling. Just want to know what kind of cost associated with pier.
That's a great question. Pier and beam, a lot of times, people will think that pier and beam, should be less expensive than slab foundation, and that's not always necessarily the case. The main thing that you want to look at with a pier and beam is, do you have issues with the actual beams themselves? Are the floors really bowed? And because there's a difference between just getting in there and leveling it and having to actually replace the rotten beams underneath it. That's where the cost can get a little bit more, is if you have to replace a bunch of rotted beams. If the beams are intact, the leveling itself is going to be right around the same minimum, $3,000 to $5,000 on a normal size 1,200 to 1,500 square foot pier and beam. If it's really, really low and you'd like to lift it up out of a flood area and lift it up 6 to 8 inches, it can add another couple of thousand to the job. But I'd say between 3,000 and 6,000 is a great place to start on something where you can see it's definitely low and needs to be lifted.
Gotcha. Okay. So I can use the same number for
not much difference there.
All right, and on the Book of Faces, Ginger, she's watching us from Amarillo. She's one of our regular. It's kind of funny because last night I was at this other event, and somebody walked up and he goes, "Hey, I watch your radio show all the time," and I kind of thought that was funny. Most people, walk up to you, "Hey, I listen to your radio show," but because we're broadcasting on Facebook, he watches it every day, and he goes, "Hey, I watch your show every day," and I'm like, "Okay, that's pretty funny, isn't it?" Yeah, I watch your radio show.
That's right.
So Ginger does the same thing. She's watching our radio show right now, and she said, "What if the center of the house is where the dip is in the foundation? It's a pier and beam house, and you can visually see the slope down the center of the home."
Most of the time what happens with these pier and beams is that when they build them, they don't put enough beams and they don't put enough piers in the house.
Exactly.
So they kind of cheap out on the amount of material they use.
Right.
So what I would probably think is the issue there is that you've got some bending and bowing on the interior. There's not enough interior piers to support the weight of the floor. So what we would do is come in and either add whatever beams are necessary, replace whatever beams are not intact, and then add the sufficient amount of piers underneath on the inside of the house. Now, a lot of times with these pier and beams, we're not just going above ground. We're actually putting material into the ground like we would a slab foundation, and then covering it with a 14-inch pad on top of it called a footing. And that actually creates something that won't sink into the ground, which is the biggest problem that we're having with these pier and beams, is they don't put wide enough footings, and the weight is causing them to sink into this wet soil. So we're actually putting material underneath the ground to stop that from happening. And a lot of times it's solving the issues completely for these pier and beams.
Well, I have to say that my biggest fear when I hear something like that is check for termites.
True.
Because, sometimes it's just the beam itself that's failing. And then, y'all can lift a house and actually replace one of those long beams. But what's the cost to replace? I mean, I know it depends on length and things like that. But, what I find is, I call it the old grandma house, right? It's that, probably 1,000 square foot house, something like that. It's maybe a, 25 by 40 or a 30 by 35, something like that. So you've got about a 30-foot run front to back, or maybe a 35-foot, 40-foot run front to back. That's one continuous beam typically, right?
Usually it's their 12-foot beams,
okay.
And so they'll run,
12-foot and overlap. And
correct.
Okay, so to replace a 12-foot section of beam, any idea on cost on that?
I think it's is it 22 a linear foot?
If it depends, are we using the same piers or not? So if we're installing new piers, it costs 3 piers and then $8 a foot for the beam.
So $8 a linear foot for the beam. So if I'm replacing, let's say, 40 foot of beam, I'm at about $320 there.
Just for
Okay,
and
just
that's
for the
if
beam
we're doing
itself.
the foundation.
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to get you to do the beam with it.
Exactly.
Because you got to lift it, and it's like if you're going to lift it for the beam, you can lift it for the foundation as well at the same time.
Exactly.
No, I totally get it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. That's not like, hey, that's not an a la carte pricing.
Exactly.
That's
Could
like
you just
an
replace
add-on.
this one beam
Yeah.
for us? For
Hey, I want leather seats
and
when
they
I
do
buy
try
my
that.
it's like I want leather seats when I buy my new Camry, right? But I can't buy those leather seats if I'm not buying the Camry.
They just want the seats. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, well, you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Let's give out y'all's phone number.
All right, we're at 832-329-1687.
All right. So Ginger, hopefully that answered your question. So the main thing is it's either going to be the beam failing or it's going to be the pier itself shrinking or sinking.
Correct.
And so if it's sinking, then it's just a matter of they're going to kind of like raising a foundation. You're gonna add more stack to that piling, really pushing it down using the weight of the house to continue to push it down until you get to the point of refusal. Correct. And then you're going to block up, shim it, all that kind of stuff. Try and get it within building tolerance, and there you go. So then it's just pretty much doing like like a standard foundation.
Yeah, or add some extra beams if it needs.
And I want my investors to keep in mind also on the pier and beams. Once we actually level the floor, the actual frames and the joists of the floor itself, a lot of times those floors have become warped now because of what's happened. So
the wood has
have
memory,
to replace
right?
the subfloor under there. That's not a part of what we do unless you want us to do. We can definitely do that, but that's not included in leveling the actual frame. Just keep that in mind when you're pricing out these
that's one of the big
beams,
differences between the old foundations where they had the rebar in the foundation versus the more modern post-tension foundations. I've heard about, you can raise it, but sometimes if you've got a high spot and you try and lower that, you can lower that high spot, but the memory of the rebar, it takes it a while for it to actually drop. I mean, it can be months and months and months before that actually drops. All right, you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785 or 1817. We're keeping it level, talking about Green Tree Foundation. See you on the other side of the break.
Clear.
I feel like that's when the shock paddles come out.
Virtuoso Graphics is not
Clear.
an ordinary sign shop.
Boom.
We're your one-stop shop for all your signage and graphics needs. We are located in the Galleria area and have been in business for over 13 years. We offer a wide variety of signage products, including
it'd be more than
Bandit,
shimming.
aluminum,
It'd be
and ADA
adding
signs to 3D
potentially
letters.
adding
Need something
cylinders
printed?
or
we can get
or
that
blocks,
done
depending
too.
on what they're using.
From outdoor
or what was
banners
there
to
before.
business cards and
then,
anything in between.
and then you shim it up.
Take
once you
advantage
get
of our
it,
laser
you can only
engraving
shim a couple of
services.
what?
We can custom engrave
maybe
on
an
many
inch and a
products
half.
available through our
Quarter
catalogs
inch,
or your own
quarter inch at
personal
a time,
items.
right?
From
But you
large
can only.
orders
I
to
mean,
small,
not like
we
you
can
want to have 6
accommodate your
inches of
specific
shim.
needs.
No, we'll use more
We pride ourselves
concrete
on
padded
customer
thicker
service
than
and
that.
work
Okay, got it.
one-on-one with
So up
customers
to like
make sure
about an
they
inch and a
get
half
good
of
quality
shim?
product.
Probably less.
Come to your
I don't
showroom
wanna
to browse
shim
our
more than
many
about an
samples
inch.
to get
Okay, got
you
it.
inspired.
So yeah,
Want
so
your
you got to get it
business to
within
get
an inch
noticed?
to shim.
Give us a
Less than
call
an
at
inch. Less than an inch to start shimming.
713-623-4425 or visit our website at virtuoso-graphics.com.
What?
Investor loans
That's the
offering
thing
up to
is
100%
these houses,
financing
they're
are still
30 foot
available.
wide
You
and
just
they
have
put
to know
one
where to
beam.
look.
Oh, yeah.
Look no
So a
further
lot of
than
times you
Noble
come in and
Mortgage.
put beams in
Yeah,
Noble
right,
Mortgage
right,
is a
right,
full-service
You have
mortgage
something to
company
support
that's
that
been
floor.
helping
Yeah.
investors
You got
since 2003.
15 foot of
Noble
Right.
Mortgage
nothing
offers up
supported
to
underneath
100%
it.
financing to investors that covers purchase,
A lot of
repairs,
times
and
they
closing
didn't
costs.
plan very well
In
when they
addition to private
planned
money,
these.
That's not
Noble
me right
Mortgage offers conventional loans, FHA, and even no-income documentation loans for both residential and commercial properties. Call and ask about our 5-point guarantee, which includes free pre-qualifications within 2 business days. Call 713-680-8100 or visit noblemoney.com. That's noblemoney.com. Our team has over 50 years experience in the mortgage industry.
like, oh
Call
my
us
God,
today,
sorry.
713-680-8100 or visit us on the web, noblemoney.com, noblemoney.com.
NMLS 292143, 8203 Willow Place Drive, Houston, Texas.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm busy.
77070.
Yeah.
If you have cracks in your walls, ceilings, or floors, you may have a foundation leveling problem. Do you have doors that stick or just won't open right? You need Green Tree Foundation Leveling, a fast, high-quality foundation leveling company based here in Houston. They know how hot it gets on the Gulf Coast. High summer temperatures, heavy rainfall, and clay-rich soils are leading causes of foundation cracks. If you have a cracked slab or a shifting foundation, call Green Tree Foundation Leveling at 832-329-1687 to schedule an appointment with Green Tree Foundation Leveling.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family
that's
investment
Elijah.
properties.
I could
Whether it's a
tell
flip
his
rehab
voice right
or a
there.
rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with
Tell
a
it's
highly
Elijah a mile
efficient,
away,
standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over
1
700
minute.
projects, which has helped us to create our 3
can't prove
keys
that.
to success.
Yeah,
Use a
when I met
detailed
you
scope
guys,
of
it
work
was,
so that everything
Tom and
gets
Elijah.
done,
That's why
train
I
and
have
maintain
stuff,
quality
I still
crews
have it
so
in
it
my
gets
head,
done
you
right,
know?
funny.
and complete the work in a proper order so it
You
gets
guys
done
were one of
fast.
the first ones
No
that
more
we
managing
met
it
right
yourself,
when we
no
started
more
the
doing the
company,
work
you know,
yourself.
so y'all
Fast
were
Track
kind of
Remodeling
one of the
really
first
does
ones
manage
we
it
were
all.
cool
So
with.
give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. Next Gen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't
This has
just
been
looking
real
for
cool
a number
us,
of
Tom.
what their
I'm
property is
really
worth,
happy
but a
about
comprehensive
our little
analysis of the
arrangement.
market.
I like it a lot.
Give NextGen a call at
Yeah, I think it's been a real win-win.
713-346-9911
It's only
or
gonna
check
grow
us
from
out
here.
online at
Absolutely. The meetings have done real well for us. I've
nextgenappraisal.com.
gotten
All right, gentlemen.
This is
Goodbye,
Business
guys.
1110.
All right, hot mics. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. We're keeping it level today, talking with Green Tree Foundation. If you have a house, especially investor houses, but y'all do investor and non-investment houses.
Sure.
Correct.
And what most people don't realize is that there are ways that investors can get foundations done where it works the exact same that a retail foundation company would do, but it just goes faster because of some techniques that y'all use, things like that. And it brings the cost down. Anytime you can do things faster and still do it with high quality, it brings the cost down, right?
Absolutely.
And I know one of those, for example, most people don't want you to go through the foundation when they're living in a house, right? But investors, most of the time the houses are vacant, so you can go through the foundation, dig the hole on the inside, do interior repairs that way. It's one of the many, many things that makes it go faster.
Absolutely.
The other thing I realize is that since the houses are vacant most of the time, y'all can work longer days, things like that. You're not having to work around people's schedule.
Not having to move furniture.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's another main thing.
Yeah, and you're not typically working, which also adds a whole nother level of liability, right? You know, like, oh my gosh, you broke this, or this 1800s, antique, armoire or something like that, right? Y'all don't have those kind of things. You're dealing with empty houses
Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time, right? So that's. I think sometimes investors go, well, how can these guys do it? So it must not be as good because.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's like the quality of the work must not be as good as other companies. Yeah, but it's the same technique and material.
The reason, Tom, that these other companies have to charge what they charge is because, to get their name out there and to get the retail business that they want, they're paying millions of dollars for TV spots and other type of advertisement that costs them a lot of money. And in order to recuperate that money, they have to do it by charging
it's probably
more,
25 or 30% of the cost of the stuff that they're doing.
Right. So what we do is we keep our costs really, really low. We have a network of investors that are our main source of business, word of mouth, this radio show with you. And so we're able to keep our costs fairly low so that we can kind of extend that
2
out
minutes.
to our investors and make sure that they can get these jobs done at a decent price.
So we've covered a lot of information here on the radio. What I want you to know is if you want to meet these guys in person, they're going to be there at our event tonight.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's going to be at 9999 Westheimer. That's the West Chase Hilton. So that's just inside the Beltway on the west side of town. It's if you're familiar with the Carillion Shopping Center, if you know it's west of the Galleria. It's actually between Gessner and the Beltway on Westheimer. It's on the south side of Westheimer, the corner of Briar Park and Westheimer. So you need to come out there tonight, 9999 Westheimer. If you're in Dallas, you're listening to us on AM 620 from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Know that we have an event next Tuesday in DFW. It's at the Quest IRA offices there in Addison. That'll be on April 25th, and we'll be talking about how to estimate rehabs in 15 minutes or less up there. I'll be doing the same event. And then we also have our next weekend retreat.
1 minute.
Will be next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 28th, 29th, and 30th at the Wyndham Dallas Suites Park Central. So if you want to find out about any of those events, go to our RightPath Real Estate page. It's rightpathrealestate.com. Go to that page. All of the links to all of the signups are right there. All of our calendar, all of that. We've got a brand new website. You need to go there. Give us y'all's phone number one more time.
All right, we're at 832-329-1687.
So come out tonight, guys, and meet
30 seconds.
Meet the guys from Green Tree Foundation in person. Ask them all the questions. See if you can stump the expert. What can we have some kind of giveaway? You get a free piling if. No, I'm just,
Actually, no, we do. We give
20
away a
seconds.
$500 gift certificate at these events, and so that way you can raffle it off, and someone, when they do their first foundation job, they can get a discount.
Yeah,
on it.
fantastic.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you've been listening to Right Path
10
Real Estate
seconds.
Radio. Jason will be live in the studio tomorrow. Thanks for listening, guys.
All right, clear. You guys